In the first video, we had an intuitive discussion on how you can express a double integral in terms of two integrals of functions from an interval to the set of real numbers. In this video, we will make this discussion precise and we will also see a proof of this result. Throughout this video, R will be the rectangle AB cross CD and F a function from R to the set of real numbers that is bounded and integrable. The theorem states that if in addition for every x in the interval AB, the integral c to d f of xy dy, that means we are integrating with respect to y, keeping x constant, and if this integral is denoted by capital F of x, then the function capital F from the interval AB to R is integrable, and moreover we can say that the double integral of the function f over the rectangle R is equal to the integral of the function capital F from A to B. Here recall that capital F is nothing but integral c to d f of xy dy. Therefore, by substituting the value of capital F, we get the following expression that will help us compute the integral of small f over the rectangle R. And as you can already imagine, this will make the process of integration much simpler. So let us try to see a proof of this theorem. First, we will prove that capital F is bounded, which is necessary for capital F to be integrable. As small f is bounded, we can find capital M and small m such that f of x comma y is less than or equal to capital M and greater than or equal to small m. Therefore, integrating this from c to d, we will get that integral of c to d f of x comma y dy is less than or equal to integral from c to d of capital M dy and is greater than or equal to integral from c to d of small m dy. But integral of c to d small m dy is equal to m into d minus c, and integral of c to d capital M dy is equal to capital M into d minus c. And thus we know that this integral is bounded between small m into d minus c and capital M into d minus c. Thus we have proved that capital F is a bounded function. Next we will show that capital F is an integrable function. To show the integrability of capital F, we will construct a partition pi of the interval a comma b such that u capital F pi minus L capital F pi is less than epsilon. And for this we will use the integrability of small f. Notice that small f is integrable implies that there exists some partition P of the rectangle R such that UFP minus LFP is less than epsilon. And we are going to use this partition P to construct our partition pi. Let P be the partition given by an ordered list of elements x0, x1, x2, etc. up to xn in the interval a comma b, and a list of elements y0, y1, y2, etc. up to ym in the interval c comma d. Then we can consider the partition pi of the interval a comma b, which is given by the ordered list of elements x0, x1, x2, etc. up to xn. We are going to claim that for this particular partition pi, u of capital F pi minus L of capital F pi is going to be less than epsilon. And we are going to prove this. For now, just take it as a claim. And of course, we are going to use the fact that UFP minus LFP is less than epsilon. So let us see how we can use that. Let Pi be an arbitrary element in the interval xi to xi plus 1. Given such an element, notice that Mij is less than f of Pi comma y is less than or equal to capital Mij. Now if we integrate small mij from c to d, we get small mij into d minus c. If we integrate f of pi comma y from c to d, we will get capital F of pi. And if we integrate capital Mij from c to d, we will get capital Mij into d minus c. Therefore, we get this expression. Multiplying by xi plus 1 minus xi and summing it over all I, we will get that the lower sum of f over p is less than or equal to summation over I capital F of pi into xi plus 1 minus xi, and that's less than or equal to u of f comma p. And this is true for all pi in the interval xi to xi plus 1. Therefore, L capital F pi and U capital F pi will lie between LFP and UFP. And therefore, LFP is less than or equal to L capital F pi is less than or equal to U capital F pi is less than or equal to UFP. And therefore, the upper integral and lower integral of capital F will be trapped between the upper integral and lower integral of small f. But because small f is integrable, these two quantities are equal. So there is no option but the upper integral and lower integral of capital F to be equal. And it has to be equal to the upper integral and lower integral of small f. And that completes the proof of the theorem. Now, using similar ideas, we can prove an analogous result where we replace the role of x by y. More precisely, we can show that if f is a function from R to R that is bounded and integrable, and for every y in the interval c comma d, if integral from a to b f of x comma y dx exists, let's call that value g of y, then the function g from c comma d to r is integrable, and the integral of the function f over the rectangle R is given by the integral of g from c to d. And we can replace g by integral a to b f of x comma y dx. Thus we have this expression. Of course, we are not going to prove it again as it's going to be exactly same as what we saw earlier. Now, to appreciate the power of this technique, let us look at an example. Let R be the rectangle given by 0, 1 cross 0, 1 and f be the function from R to R defined as f of x comma y is equal to x square y plus yx square. We are going to integrate this function f over the rectangle R. Notice that to integrate x square y plus xy square over R, we can first integrate x square y plus xy square keeping x as constant from 0 to 1 and then integrate whatever we get in terms of x from 0 to 1. When we integrate x square y plus xy square in terms of y, we get x square y square by 2 plus xy cube by 3. And we are going to evaluate this from 0 to 1. Thus, we get x square by 2 into 1 minus 0 plus x by 3 into 1 minus 0. Because y square at 1 is equal to 1 square which is equal to 1 and y square at 0 is equal to 0. Similarly for y cube. And when we integrate x square by 2 with respect to x, we get x cube by 6. And similarly, when we integrate x by 3 with respect to x, we get x square by 6. Therefore, we get the integral to be equal to x cube by 6 plus x square by 6 evaluated from 0 to 1, which is equal to 1 by 6 plus 1 by 6, and that is equal to 1 by 3. Therefore, the integral of this function over the rectangle R is equal to 1 by 3.